What's up, everybody, and thanks for tuning in to another episode of Between the Cons. My name is Kris, and with me today, Kris Too.
What? Back so soon? What?
Yes. Today is the Outlaw Steve Jr.'s wedding anniversary, and also he is in Disney World. So he can't exactly record. I realized this last night because apparently I'm the only one that looks at the rotation schedule that I built. And I realized, oh crap, Steven's not going to be able to record. We got to find somebody else. Kris Too to the rescue.
So I'm here, guys.
Yes.
Like
we established that.
Most unexciting superhero ever is here.
Booster Gold.
I'm not even that interesting.
I'm not even as interesting as Booster Gold. Well, I guess if you're asking Justin, Booster Gold is very interesting.
Yeah, our friend Justin thinks he's the greatest thing ever, and he's like, when is he gonna get a movie? Never.
When all the other ideas are gone, and or Nathan Fillion agrees to it, because
that is true.
That's the only way I'll watch that movie.
And is the only person ever should ever play him. So
yeah, and he wants to, so it works out. But we have a pineapple episode for you. We're going to be hitting the headlines here in just a second. But before we do, thanks to everybody for tuning into the show today. If you don't follow us on social media, do that. We're on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Between the Cons on all of those. So yeah, follow us there and review the show if you haven't done that. Just go out on iTunes or Google Play or wherever you're listening. Apply some sort of rating or ranking on whatever platform you choose.
Yeah, pull us up on your Zune.
Yeah.
Travel back to 2006 and pull us up on your Zune.
If you somehow still have a Zune and it somehow can play this podcast without you downloading the file and loading it onto your Zune,
damn,
give yourself a pat on the back. You made it. We
sure would.
You made it. I would give you the firmest of high fives. So you deserve it. You deserve it. If anybody deserves it, it's you, Mr. Zune guy.
Yeah.
But like I said, we're gonna hit some headlines. I can't believe we just talked about the Zune on this podcast.
We are nothing if not topical.
Yeah, we are.
Especially
all
on
over.
our topical episode.
Yeah, seeing as how we just talked about the Zune, we're gonna talk about the latest nerdy news. So believe that as much as you want, and we'll be right back.
We're gonna have a pineapple situation. What should I do? Pineapple. The word that cannot be spoken. Pineapple.
Just want to say pineapple.
Pineapples are fun. My dad used to throw them at me.
Pineapple.
Seriously? Wow.
Okay, so first up, DC has been doing a lot of animated movies for the last few years. We've talked about this before, you know.
The only good thing they're doing?
Yeah, like whether you like or dislike anything that they've been doing live, if you like their TV shows, if you don't like their TV shows, if you like their movie, whatever. But we can all agree that, man, they knock it out of the park when it comes to animation. And they're now celebrating their 10th anniversary. They've been doing specifically their animated movies, their straight to DVD animated movies they've been doing now for 10 years. And to celebrate that, they're releasing their 10th anniversary collection on Blu-ray.
That's exciting.
It is 30 movies, guys.
And it's $1,000.
Not even close.
Good.
It's available on Amazon for it. It has that Amazon thing where I don't know if this is because I have Prime or it's just they're running a deal where it has like the $299 and then crossed out and it says $211, which even for $300 that would really be a deal because I mean you factor in low end $15 per movie, that's $450.
Yeah, that's pretty okay. That's a pretty okay price.
Yeah, you get 30 movies plus 5 additional animated shorts that I'm assuming are the ones that were released with specific movies.
Right.
They range from films based on DC comic graphic novels like Superman Doomsday and Justice League The New Frontier, Batman The Dark Knight Returns, Batman The Killing Joke, to films inspired by themes from within the DC history, such as Batman vs. Robin was inspired by Court of Owls. Superman vs. the Elite was inspired by What's So Funny About Truth, Justice, and the American Way. And they also have original stories, like probably one of my favorites was Justice League Gods and Monsters, which was amazing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And in addition to that, of course, what box set would be complete without tons of extras? They have over 20 hours of special features, including 2 hours of all new original content, an exclusive collectible coins.
I just imagine like gag reels, like because they're animated
that would
movies.
Be great.
They're animated movies, like
they've
do
sent
gag reels.
A ton of it.
That'd be so funny, especially for Batman and Harley Quinn, which just came out, because that one's got its moments where I can definitely see some gag reels shining.
Yeah, just and like when Harley is making a move on Nightwing.
She did more than make a move on him.
Yeah,
you know
she made all the moves on him.
Yeah,
and
she got moving.
Yeah, she did not stop. She revved up her Harley.
Oh my god.
So anyway, so if you guys have not watched any of the DC animated movies, but you want to, and you want to just jump right in, you want to cannonball into that pool, buy this collection. It wouldn't really be worth it for me because I already own nearly all of them. But man, looks really good, and it looks really pretty.
Right.
And I would honestly say of the 30 movies, I would say maybe at least 20 of them are excellent, or like great to excellent. I would, and then most of the others are still good. So, well worth your time. Go check it out. It's available on Amazon for barely over $200. Get that Amazon Prime and get free shipping. You can have it before the end of the week, guys. Pineapple.
Pineapples. Millie Bobby Brown. Millie Bobby Brown plays 11 on Stranger Things. She was recently interviewed about like a bunch of stuff, and one of the things was like, did she take anything from the set? I feel like when you're in such a hit, whether it be a TV show or anything, or even really just something that as an actor you enjoy working on, it's kind of like expected nowadays that you take something.
Oh, absolutely.
Like Ryan Reynolds just took his Deadpool suit.
And who was going to stop him?
Right.
Yeah. Or like the Lord of the Rings actors, they all kept like props from the set. Or,
oh, yeah.
Viggo Mortensen straight up just bought his horse.
Right. Well, Millie Bobby Brown decided that she was going to keep something from the Stranger Things set. And it's kind of concerning to me, but the reasoning behind it is awesome. So she kept a vial of Eleven's nose blood. So every time 11 uses her power, like her nose bleeds, and she kept it. She kept some like in a little vial. And in the interview, she was asked like, why would you keep the nose blood? Like, out of all of the things that you could keep, like the costumes or something else. Like
her box of Eggos.
The box of Eggos. I mean, the CB radio. Like,
yeah.
You keep a vial of nose blood. And she was just, her response was, well, when my grandchildren see it, I want them to ask me what the vial is. And that way I can say, and this is all paraphrased, but that way I can say, well, when I was younger, when I would use my superpowers to defeat the shadow monster, my nose would bleed, and I decided to save some of that blood. And my grandkids would just be like, okay. And that was her answer. Like, that is the best answer.
She's so, like, it's so weird, but so perfect for an 11-year-old.
Oh my gosh, it's awesome. I love it. I love it so much. But I just thought it was, I thought it was a fun little story. And Stranger Things season 2, if for some reason you haven't seen it, it's out on Netflix now. Go watch it. It's really, really great. It is, it's a lot heavier than season 1 was. Like, season 1 was pretty heavy.
It's
like thriller wise. This one is really heavy emotions wise, but it is.
And this,
excellent.
There were more than a few times I was like, getting a little choked up.
The feels.
Yeah.
But yeah, Millie Bobby Brown has a vial of Eleven's nose blood, and that's the important thing here. Pineapple.
We are here to bring you the most important news
The
you needed
most
to know that.
important. Only the most important.
More important news you need to know. So, Patrick Rothfuss's Kingkiller Kingkiller Chronicles. It's supposed to be a trilogy. He only has 2 books out, and he's taking forever to write the 3rd book, and it's killing me that I'm having to wait this long for it.
He really understands the trilogy concept.
Yeah, well, he understands the money concept, where he just keeps on like putting out special editions of his first 2 books, and people keep on buying them because we have problems.
Yep.
But almost a year ago, it was announced that the creator of Hamilton, Lin-Manuel Miranda, would be helming the adaptation of the Kingkiller Chronicles series being adapted into a television series. And it has now been announced that the television series, which is just going to carry the same name, Kingkiller Chronicles, is going to air on Showtime.
Oh, excellent.
And they've also brought on for showrunner John Rogers, who, to his name, he has The Librarians, Leverage, and Transformers. Which I've seen the first Transformers movies, and I'm aware of Leverage.
Yep.
I haven't seen The Librarians, but but in addition to this announcement, Showtime also released a brief, albeit vague, summary of the series. So if you don't know anything about the books, this really isn't going to do too much for you. But the summary is, quote, set in the world of the wildly popular fantasy series by Rothfuss, the Kingkiller Chronicle will follow a pair of wandering performers on their adventures through the unique and startling world of Temerant, immersing audiences in a universe of unexpected heroes, mystical places, and terrifying dark forces. The television adaptation is a subversive origin story of legendary proportions set a generation before the events of the trilogy's first novel, The Name of the Wind.
Yeah, if you're not familiar with this series, that doesn't tell you like anything. Yeah. Because I'm not familiar with the series, and I know about as much now as I did before you started reading.
Yeah, and it'd be a complete waste of our time for me to try to go into everything that it is. Essentially, all I will say is that it's basically Patrick Rothfuss doing his own Tolkien or his own Dark Tower or his own whatever, his own fantasy world, and it's really cool. Even though I haven't even finished the story because we're still waiting on book 3, but you can get the first 2 books on Audible, and I know how much you love that Audible.
I do like audiobooks.
Because I sure do, and they are long, like 45 hours. But
good grief, that's like a Warbringer.
Yeah, but they are really good, and I've really enjoyed listening to them. So I'm very excited for the 3rd book. I'm also excited for this. Lin-Manuel Miranda will also be composing the music for the series, and basically, this seems like Showtime is.
Is it going to be uncomfortable hip hop as well?
Not that I'm aware of.
He said, "Thick with opinions."
I'm guessing somebody didn't like Hamilton.
Hey, listen, the story is fine. The music was weird. That's my opinion. It's not wrong because it's my opinion.
No, it's not wrong. It's your opinion.
It felt weird, and I didn't like the way it made me feel. And that's that. So Booyakasha.
Lin-Manuel, you made Chris feel things. He wasn't comfortable with it. So.
But not in like a standard, typical Broadway kind of way. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, no, I know exactly what you're saying. That's part of the reason I liked it is because I was very tired of stuff on Broadway. But that's not what we're talking about. So anyway, it sounds like basically Showtime is bringing this up just in time as HBO is finishing Game of Thrones, so maybe they're hoping to take over that mantle or fill that niche in our TV watching. So who knows? Maybe they'll be the next Game of Thrones. And either way, I'm excited for this. I love the story so far, and I'm really excited to see what happens. So, Pineapple.
Disney, in a thing we've talked about a lot. Disney,
What about Disney?
Disney is actually talking about buying Fox, 20th Century Fox.
What?
Which is crazy. It's now that the day is finally here. Like, we've talked about it for a long time. We like every time X-Men or Fantastic Four or whatever comes up, we talk about like, gosh, if only Marvel owned the rights. Well, now that we're here,
And it could happen.
I have feelings. So Disney, let's pretend. So let me finish this, I guess. Disney's talking about buying Fox. If it goes through, they're going to own 20th Century Fox. They're not going to own the Fox TV channel. They're not going to own Fox Sports or Fox News, which, unfortunate. For its own outside of this podcast reasons. But they will own 20th Century Fox Studios. So here are the pros. Like I said a second ago, X-Men and the Fantastic Four in the Marvel Cinematic Universe
Can probably only help them.
A New Hope is the only Star Wars movie that Disney does not own. So there is potential that we can once again live in a day where Han shot first. It could happen. They could re-release the original cut of the movie where Han shot first.
And not do anything to it ever again.
And cut out the terrible CGI musical bit in the cantina as well, which would be nice. Cons. So those are pros. Those are all good things. Those are the things that we've talked about, with the exception of Star Wars. I peppered that one in because that part makes me very, very excited. But X-Men in the MCU, Fantastic Four in the MCU. Cons. The future Disney streaming service that we've talked about gets that much more powerful.
That's true. When they own that much.
Yeah, that's a lot of movies. Like the one example that I saw when I was reading the article about this was The Martian, like with Matt Damon. Excellent movie. As weird as it might be, that's like a go-to like background noise movie for me. I really enjoy that movie. I really enjoy the book.
It's a great movie.
Yeah, and I like having it on. I enjoy the tone of the movie, so I like having it on as background noise when I'm working on other stuff, or like maybe I'm cooking or whatever. But the Disney streaming service just got so much more powerful. Disney has gone a whole long time, like forever, without ever releasing an R-rated movie.
Ooh,
And they're probably not going to change that. They've had subsidiaries that have released R-rated movies, like Touchstone and the other one, Miramax, maybe, that have released R-rated films. But under the Disney umbrella, it's very few and far between. So what does that mean?
Well,
Deadpool. What happens? What happens to Deadpool? Do they try and make it PG-13 like the rest of the Marvel movies, or do they ride the success of the raunchy R-rated Merc with a Mouth?
Yeah, if they made it PG-13, I'm instantly not interested.
You know who else is instantly not interested? Everyone. No one is interested anymore. Do you remember that one time where it was like everybody was speculating that it was going to be PG-13, and Ryan Reynolds dressed up in the Deadpool suit and bashed what's-his-face?
Chair smashed Slater.
Yeah, chair smashed Slater. And then cursed it, and then dropped the F-bomb at him. Like, a PG-13 Deadpool movie will not be accepted. You will see instant ramifications for that. But they're in talks. The deal's not done. Nobody knows what it's going to hold. But those are some potential things just to think about when you're talking to your friends about that little news nugget. But let's carry on. Let's carry on in the news. Pineapple.
Brian Michael Bendis, one of the great writers and artists of comic books of our day, is moving over to DC Comics.
Which means I actually get to start reading DC Comics again.
Acting like he doesn't have any DC Comics on his shelf.
Oh, I have a lot, actually. I do.
Yeah. But Brian Michael Bendis, he is the major guy behind some of the best Marvel stories that we've had. He was the co-creator of Ultimate Spider-Man, and he was the one that brought us Miles Morales.
And he badmouthed my dad. That's a true story.
Really?
Look it up. Go back and listen to How to Print Comics with the sheriff Steve Sr.
I forgot about that story. Yeah.
Brian Michael Bendis badmouthed my dad. So that's fun. I like to bring that up. Carry on. Brian Michael Bendis.
But yeah, and not only that, but he was the one that created or helped create Jessica Jones in the Alias title,
which is why he badmouthed my dad.
And it's so suffice it to say, he has been behind some really great characters on screen or in comics that some of whom have been brought to screen, and now he's moving over to DC after being at Marvel for like 18 years.
Yeah, a lot of years.
And DC broke the news on Twitter with a message saying they said, quote, "He's one of the premier writers in the industry, having created so many unforgettable stories wherever he's been.
Backhanded.
We can't wait to."
That's so backhanded.
It is a little bit, and we can't wait to see what he has planned for the DC universe.
Wherever he's been, like we don't know where he's.
We know
been.
where he's been.
He's like over the last 2 years, he's dropped 50 new titles. Titles.
And this is
Marvel.
what's great. Like there are a lot of great writers out there, and there are a lot of great writers in the industry working on both sides, both teams,
absolutely.
and also on independent titles. And a lot of these great writers are working on, tried and true fan favorites that everybody knows, and they breathe new life into these characters. And yes, we need those. But Brian Michael Bendis is one of these guys that he's really good at coming up with new characters and new stories. And it's guys like him that help keep comics alive, because he's constantly coming up with new things and reimagining, and we need that.
And since DC hasn't recently reimagined their entire line of titles, in the last, I don't know, let's say a year, with something ridiculous called Rebirth or something weird. They haven't done that. They want to bring in Brian Michael Bendis to try and do something like that, really freshen things up, because people have just been stuck with these same characters for the last 380 days.
And I would really hope that he I mean, we all have our favorite comic book characters, but I would really love to see him bring in, create just a new classic character that goes on to.
Well, and that's what he does. I mean,
change the. Yeah, that's. I mean, this is why people want to work with him.
Yeah, he's
they want him on his team.
Brilliant writer. He's a brilliant comic book writer, and DC is very lucky to have him.
Yes, they are, and so I mean, as much as I'd love to see him work on some familiar characters too, but I'm most excited to see what new stuff he comes up with in the DC universe. So. Nothing but hopes and nothing but excitement over here. Pineapple.
Stranger Things season 3. We found out because season 2 just aired a week ago, so we've got to have season 3 news already. But we found out that there's probably going to be another time jump in season 3. What I mean by time jump, in season 1 we had a real time jump where the viewer and the story are on the same timeline. So it was about a year between season 1 and season 2 for us viewer folk. Yeah. And it was about a year in the show. It was Christmassy time in the show, and then back to Halloweenish time. So about a year, which was the same for us. We're probably going to see the same thing, except more so for season 3. So season 3 isn't going to immediately jump back into production like season 2 did. There will be a little bit of a buffer, but season 3 is probably going to have a more drastic time jump, moving probably the characters right now who are in the 8th grade further into their high school years. So when I say the characters, I mean the party. Will, Mike, Lucas, Dustin, Max, Elle, probably moving them further into their high school years. And that would put Nancy, Steve, and Jonathan in college. Everyone experiencing all new situations and things like that. Why? Why would we see that? Well, let me tell you. Lucas, you know Lucas. Caleb McLaughlin. He's 16 years old.
What?
He's 16 years old playing a 12 or a 13-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
Which doesn't seem like a huge jump. But like that's puberty time.
Yeah, and he's about to not look like an 8th grader anymore.
Exactly. Will is 13. Like the guy that plays Will, whose name I can't remember, and I'm gonna hate myself for it. He is actually 13. Steve Harrington, the guy that plays Steve Harrington, 25. The guy that plays Jonathan, 23. Like these people are too old to be passing for high school.
Yeah.
So we're gonna see a jump. It's gonna happen.
And as time goes on, it's gonna become less believable. So a good way to deal with this. So.
Yeah, and that's kind of the thing in casting or in pitching a show about children is like puberty. Like it's going to happen. Yeah. Like they're going to grow older, and they're going to grow older. Like when you look at the flashbacks that happened in season 2 that were just flashing back to season 1, like I remember saying to Michael Ann, like, "Oh my gosh, they look so young." I was like, they still look young. They're still kids, but it's like
you grow a lot.
Yeah, there's so much growing between those things, and it's crazy. Like they can't sustain like a single year time jump and make it believable, especially with Lucas being 16. Like it is something that is impossible. Noah Schnapp is Will Byers' name.
There you go.
It's impossible to maintain. So I think it's going to be a good thing to make that jump. It is going to be a little bit weirder with people like Noah Schnapp being 13. Finn, the guy that plays Mike Wolfhard.
Yeah, he's like the greatest name.
Yeah, like Finn, Gatton, Matarazzo, Millie Bobby Brown, Caleb. Like they're all, or not Caleb, Lucas. Caleb Lucas. With the exception of him, they're all young. They're all very young. Caleb's, 16. But still, like it's unsustainable to try and expect this show to take place 1 year in the future, like real time. There's got to be a time jump.
Yeah.
And we're going to see that in season 3. So if you're not ready for it, go ahead and start talking yourself into it now because it's going to happen. Pineapple.
All right, so I'm gonna switch my last 2 pineapples because
Rebel.
Well, you're the only one that's seen them, so I didn't even need to say anything.
You didn't need to say it. I wouldn't have said it. Maybe.
Amazon has their series Good Omens coming out. We've talked about it already, and we've talked about how David Tennant is playing the Demon Crowley, and Michael Sheen is playing the Angel Aziraphale. John Hamm is in there as Gabriel, and we've also got. There's a lot of really
cast.
Great. Yeah, the cast is great. Well, they've just recently announced that they have cast 3 of the 4 Horsemen of the Apocalypse. They've got, I'm gonna
do it.
Morel Enos is playing the Horseman War.
Lyndon, you my ride. Lyndon. She was Sarah Lyndon in The Killing. Also, she's from Houston. She's from Houston, Texas. Her name is Mirelle. Her last name is Enos. She is from Houston, born to Monique. Just thought that was a fun fact. You're gonna throw that in. Carry on.
Yeah. So
Morel
Enos. Yeah, she's playing the Horseman War. Yusuf Gatewood is playing Famine. You might have seen him on CW's The Originals. And then Lord Fabares is playing Pollution, which instead of Pestilence, which is in the books, because Pestilence isn't really a problem anymore. Thanks, penicillin.
Well, I feel like even if it was Pestilence, like
I'll go
ahead and say I'll poke at the intelligence of the masses. Nobody would even get what it meant.
No.
But basically it's like something along the lines of the bubonic plague. Yeah, it's not directly tied to the bubonic plague, but it is
it's rampant disease. Yeah. So, but yeah, so, and it's also really interesting because in the book, Pestilence is actually depicted as a guy, and Lord as a white guy with like long white stringy hair, and Lord Fabris is an Asian woman.
That is accurate.
But there's this is an adaptation. They can do whatever they want, and I think that's awesome. Also, another gender blind casting is their casting of Beelzebub in this. The famous demon is being played by Anna Maxwell Martin, who she played in Becoming Jane and Death Comes to Pemberley, which is just the most British sounding TV show ever. I actually saw her in the Royal Shakespeare's production of King Lear. She played one of King Lear's daughters, and she's an awesome actor. So I'm really excited about that. And so just some casting. So we have the 3 of the 4 horsemen. No word yet on who will play Death. So really gonna be cool to see who they get.
I'm excited to see who that is. And they already have such a good cast.
Yeah, I'm hoping it. Part of me hopes it's someone like, I don't know, Charles Dance.
I hope it's someone like Tom Ellis, who plays Lucifer on the Lucifer television show.
Ooh, yeah, that would be really good.
Not Tom Ellis, but someone like that.
No, but someone
someone with that charm.
That would be a very different take on it too, because I mean, Death is a very in the story. Death is a very quiet, somber character, but still has presence. So
right, well, and cool. that's what I mean. Like Tom Ellis in the Lucifer show, like. Not necessarily his demeanor, but definitely like the way he carries himself, and like it's a little bit different because he's more stoic in Good Omens. But I think it would be really interesting to see something like that, where it's like almost like the tall, dark, and handsome, but and quiet. Like I think that'd be a really interesting take on it.
Yeah, it'd be cool. So that's more of the cast we have so far. They're already in production, and Neil Gaiman every now and then tweets out a picture from set, and it's really exciting. So, more awesome adaptations to look forward to. So, Pineapple.
More castings. Shazam. I am already excited about a DC movie. Kris, be proud. Be proud.
I'm so proud.
Thank you. I needed that. Shazam coming out in 2019, I think. They have cast Zachary Levi as Shazam,
which is nowhere near close to the top of my list of people I would have guessed for this character.
But I love it. Shazam is hands down, and you cannot argue with me on this. Shazam is hands down the cheesiest DC superhero.
Oh, he is. But
Zach Levi is
perfect.
It's perfect for that. Given, sure, he's small, but let's be real. What actor who is now playing a superhero was not small when he first got cast? Let's look at Chris Hemsworth. Chris Hemsworth worked out 6 hours a day for like 2 years to be in Thor shape. Like,
remember when
Zach Levi will be fine.
Remember when Chris Pratt was announced to be a
you remember when Chris
movie?
Pratt was fat on Parks and Rec? Like, come on.
Boy, I do.
But they also cast Asher Angel from Disney's Andy Mack to play Billy Batson, which I could definitely be more excited about anyone else. I hate Disney stars that try and be in movies that I actually care about. Hasn't worked out for me yet. So
here's hoping.
And then lastly, the last one that I was excited about that had someone tied to it. Mark Strong from Kingsman, who played Merlin. He is hands down my favorite. Oh, you know that guy from That Thing actor? Because everybody has seen Mark Strong. Everybody knows who Mark Strong is. They know at least one movie he's in.
Yeah.
But they don't know his name. I love Mark Strong. He's good. Mark Strong. I will watch just about any movie if Mark Strong has a primary role. But he has been cast to play the villain. The villain is still unnamed. We don't know who that is yet. But Mark Strong is going to be playing that person, which is so exciting. He plays such a good villain. If you don't believe me, go watch Kick-Ass, which was a ridiculous movie, but he played an excellent villain in that movie. But that's all. Those three. Asher Angel playing Billy Batson, Zach Levi playing Shazam, and Mark Strong playing unknown villain Pineapple.
And my last pineapple, which I didn't mean to pick so many TV series pineapples, but I guess that happened. And with this pineapple, I'm bringing back the Outlaw Steve Jr.'s popular segment. Please stop. Please stop.
We have a soundbite for that. You didn't have to do that.
Well, I did it anyway because I'm really not excited about this, and I really don't want it to happen. Amazon Prime is in talks with the Tolkien estate and Warner Brothers TV to bring a Lord of the Rings TV series to their streaming service.
Question: is it a Lord of the Rings series or is it a Tolkien-verse series?
It is a Lord of the Rings series.
God.
As in just a retelling of the Lord of the Rings stories of those movies that we already have, which are already considered.
I had so much hype. I had so much hype just now. Like Silmarillion, I would totally watch a TV series.
And that is exactly my point. Because if they were to do stuff like basically the highlights from the Silmarillion or just other stuff in the Tolkien world, that would be amazing. I would be completely 180 on this, and I'd be all for it, and I'd be doing the happy dance. Instead, basically, they're going to be wanting to take the Lord of the Rings, which again we already have in not only an excellent movie series, which still holds up, which I still watch on a yearly basis, and it's
the extended version. Version.
I watch the extended version every year, and it is still excellent.
Theatrical cut is just okay. Extended cut is perfect.
And yes, I mean, as a Tolkien nerd, do I wish that they had put even more in the movies? Sure, but also I understand that they couldn't make
There's no room for Tom
20
Bombadil.
Hours long. No,
there's no room.
And that's okay because you know what probably wouldn't work on screen? Tom Bombadil.
Exactly.
And that's what I'm afraid. That's exactly what I'm afraid we would get in this TV series is they'll say, hey, here's more Tolkienverse, and let's be honest, if they make this, I'm going to watch it because I have a problem.
Mm-hmm.
And I've just accepted that I have a problem with it.
We're both guilty of that. Yeah.
But it doesn't mean I want it. And I'll take it, but I don't want it. And
you know what I would like to see before we get another Lord of the Rings anything? Somebody making good adaptations of the Chronicles of Narnia all the way through. All the way through.
That'd be great.
Like
fantastic.
I will take a let's see what it's 7 books. I'll take a 10-hour mini series.
Oh, that'd be good.
On all 7 of the Chronicles of Narnia books before I'll take another Lord of the Rings thing.
Absolutely. And again, like guys, I love Lord of the Rings. I love Tolkien. Lord of the Rings was Star Wars to me, like was what Star Wars was to our parents. Like
right.
I live and breathe it. I have a Tolkien tattoo on my arm.
It's true. He does.
And so I don't want to be hating on it, a Tolkien adaptation coming out, but not like this. Not like this.
Did you just quote the fan film, or not fan film, but short film that Steven made? Because you did, whether it was intentional or not.
Well, because in that, Steven was also quoting The Matrix, so...
Oh, that's true. Man, Steven's such a nerd.
It's layers, man. So,
Layers, bro. Layers.
pineapple.
So I kind of hate that you did a please stop of the week because
Hey, we can double it up.
I did a please stop of the week.
All right.
And my please stop of the week is The Walking Dead. Why is The Walking Dead still on the air? I was looking through all the news in my Apple News app that still has those annoying ads that I talked about a couple weeks ago.
And it's everywhere.
And it's everywhere. And there's a spinoff. Why?
Yep.
Why? There's 8 seasons.
And now they're gonna be crossing
good.
them over.
It hasn't been good since I graduated college.
No, I remember watching. I remember watching the first season with you and Steven.
I have done so much since I graduated college. It feels like it was a decade ago. And this show has not been good since then.
No,
And there's a spinoff. And the spinoff, I can't speak to the spinoff. The spinoff,
No.
I hear good things. But okay, whatever. Fear the Walking Dead, do whatever you want. The Walking Dead has turned into a post-apocalyptic soap opera where they occasionally reference zombies. Like, that's what the show is now. If you still watch the show, that's what it is. You have to accept that. It's not a good show anymore.
Actually, kind of how appropriate is it that The Walking Dead itself has kind of turned into a shambling husk of its former self?
Man, it's so...
much like zombies.
Here's the thing. It's so bad. Robert Kirkman backed out.
Yeah.
Like, he created The Walking Dead, and he doesn't want anything to do with it anymore. That is a huge red flag.
That is a problem, guys.
Jeez,
that is a sign you maybe should have quit a while ago.
Stop making The Walking Dead. Stop watching it. It's not good. It's not going to get better. Stop. Just friggin' stop it.
Stop it. Stop. Stop.
That's my please stop of the week. Pineapple.
Pineapple.
And that's everything. That's it for the show today. We made it through. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, for sticking with us through both the please stops of the week. I like the please stops of the week. I don't like ending on it because now I'm kind of like out of breath. Because I just yelled. I just yelled for like 5 minutes. But I'm sure my wife is super happy about it downstairs trying to watch her black and white movie. And I'm screaming about zombie TV shows. But you guys, check out our website, betweenthecons.com. You can stream our episodes online, link out to all of our social media. If you like our theme music, check out Afixa at betweenthecons.com/bandcamp. He makes sweet dubstep tunes, and we use them in our segues. And finally, tune in on Monday, because we're going to be back. We're going to be talking about nerd icons.
Nerdicons.
And are they replaceable? Hashtag clickbait. You guys have a great weekend, and we will talk to you on Monday.
Bye. You're not picking up my cat, are you?